Jack Robinson and George Pittar. Also Ian Gentil hitting the water as well. So these three will open up their account here at Surf Abu Dhabi. First wave will come through. It really is impressive in a variety of conditions. Ian Gentil here. It's generally a picture of calm as well. Doesn't seem to get overly rattled in terms of his prep for heats. Pretty cool customer flick.
Yeah, pretty cool, calm and collected. One thing I will say is he brings a sort of different style to the tour that, you know, sometimes you see that manufactured style, and cool thing about the wave pool is maybe we're going to see a bit of versatility there, something that looks a little bit different.
First wave for Ian. Will be on his forehand, the right-hander. Here he goes. And he'll open up into that crumble, just kind of swat that first section. And then nice little patient, nothing rushed at all. That one with a bit more zing in it as he'll snap out the tail with plenty of spray again, giving it a nice sting in the tail. And then things will get much hollower here, so just driving off the bottom into the lip. And then using that high line float to make room and just get a little more creative again, giving that plenty. And another big hit, so displacing a lot of water, opting not to go for the tube and just flaring it out. Really nicely done for about 3/4 of the way through that turn, but he won't, crucially, get that completion flick.
Yeah, he's not going to get the completion there, but I like the intent to go for it, right? It's your wave one. He's put together, you know, up until that point, a really well-surfed wave. Super critical, and already I can sort of see a little bit differences in his surfing overall compared to, you know, the other natural footers that we've seen going right today. I think, yeah, just great flair, great. He looked really put together, but obviously that last section is looking really tricky on those rights today. So let's have a look. He obviously goes for it, gets the grab, obviously trying to keep that board nice and close to him with that wind. Nose picks in, the fins engage, but he just gets stuck a little bit too far on top, and like we've all been saying, this wave just keeps running off without you.
You hear the noise, that train coming towards you, and it's time to perform. We'll have a look at him here. George Pittar will be on the backhand on the left. Here he goes. Pittar off the bottom. First turn, just clips one into the lip. Again, not pushing too hard with these opening maneuvers. Not loads of points, really, I don't feel, in this opening section in terms of the turns, but he'll get some cover inside the tube. And a little bit butts there in terms of his line. He did pretty well to hold on. He'll just kind of stick with that and hope to get deep on the end, which he doesn't quite do. Gives it a good crack there. And another one. So some nice spicy stuff through the mid part of the wave, but just pushing it a little harder on that third maneuver. And we've seen that a couple of times, Flick. When you do that, you can put yourself behind.
For sure. I think from that initial barrel, I think he probably would have loved to have been deeper. And it seems to me, if you don't get the rhythm right at the beginning of this wave, the rest of the rhythm and everything else just seems a little bit off. Let's have a look here. So nice out of the lip. He just tries to get around and underneath. But this last barrel just runs off so fast. So, oh, this is the first one, sorry. So let's get back to that. He comes out, and then just here, it looks like to me the timing is just a little bit off. And comes around this section and just gets a little bit caught in that last barrel just so fast. It really is a freight train. And yeah, just it's all about timing, right? And I feel like it really comes down to even your takeoff and your initial, you know, how you set that first rail and your first turn, and then that dictates how the rest of the wave really is going to play out.
The Robinson family enjoying their time traveling around the world this year, right now over here in the Middle East and in the basin, where Robinson has been unable to really unlock massive results thus far in his career. He's had a couple of starts in the surf ranch. Let's see how he goes with his first wave here. He has been one of those surfers that's been very much dialing in the process with that headspace, that preparation, been at the kind of vanguard of that, something we've seen the last couple of years. It's served him really well. He'll need to keep that cool head here, and then he'll need to get to his feet and perform. Here he goes. His first wave will be facing the wall on the forehand. Robinson is up and swinging here. A little drift from his first turn, and then a nice wrap. Just patient stuff. So already variety locked in from his 3 first turns. and a ton of flow and speed as well. It's got a pretty unique approach, really, in terms of the way he likes to ride waves. It's looking pretty good right now from this angle. A little more release there on that tail, so just being creative, not being formulaic. Now he's looking for a ramp. He'll just be patient on the tail, and he'll get a big alley-oop rotation of his own, covering a lot of ground, and then he'll just release those fins and skid it out. Very nicely put together, creative surfing from Jack.
Wow, that was incredible. That was such a well-ridden wave. His adjustments and transitions between turns was what sold it for me. I mean, the turns were amazing. The air at the end was incredible, but his ability to sort of read the speed of the wave and direct, you know, himself into that critical part every single time. Let's have a look. So carves there, up into the lip, drifts the fins, gets another release here. You can just see how that little redirect there, where he just positioned himself to be that bit deeper, so important. And then that last maneuver, he's looking really at ease. He's looking in control. Let's have a look here. Super slow-mo, gets that whip. And it's so cool with this wave because you are traveling a distance while doing that air. It just looks different to the ocean, you know.
His first wave going left, so backhand for the surfer out of Maui. 517 he got for his right. He's got plenty more in the tank, though. And I just wonder, the response in terms of what he did on his last maneuver on the last wave, not getting a completion there. How much does that play in your minds? How much do you try and carry on, change things? Let's see how he goes. Here he is. Gentil, up and swinging. And not trying to do too much on the opening part of the wave thus far. It's a nice little release of the tail, and then looking to get some cover here. Sun out in Abu Dhabi. It doesn't go super throaty in terms of the tube work. That turn was pretty critical. And another one go nice and vert backhand. And again, the spray and the style is very much on point. Now let's see what he's got here. This is crucial in terms of his score. And he'll go a big backhand rotation. And that was technically a really hard one to get done. And he got most of it done, but puts it down on the end flick.
Yeah, far out. I mean, he really went for it on that last turn, and really technical, really technically hard. I think it looked like to me, he took off on that wave and he surfed his way into rhythm. He got stronger towards the end. I mean, this is a really hard maneuver to go for right here. Almost gets the completion and, I mean, just doesn't make that. He was so close, almost on his way to a great score there.
Even updated the wave a few weeks out to really keep its quality, even in stronger wind conditions. Happy with the update. Right before the CT came to town for the first time ever. As we were still in qualifying heat number 3, Joe Turpel, Jesse Mendez running down the line with George Pittar, part of the rookie class on tour, punching out the lip again, winding up, hammering it in the pocket. Big blast there again for George, whipping it quickly off the lip line. As he climbs, he's coming around the corner. I love the speed, quality of turns as he's hitting his targets really well. And now George sitting nice and low. Quick look at the barrel. And section finish, slides out. We've seen that happen throughout the day. Jay Bottle Thompson, the coach. Great beard. Fired up this morning. Spent some time on the championship tour. Now he's been working with some great athletes like Morgan Siblick, Liam O'Brien. George Pittar also jumping in the corner of Joel Vaughn this year as we look at the replay from the Surf Abu Dhabi flight camp.
Yeah, he started off pretty nice. I think the only problem, he got a little bit stuck, but just being a little bit behind the section, and he was always kind of repeating the turns. You see the combination of maneuvers he had. You can see right there he's having to double pump down the line, and he kept just getting a little bit late for the section, so he got a little bit repetitive. But as he was going to mix it up with something different, he ended up getting caught. This last turn right there, just the transition gets very tight, and it's hard for you to put on rail. But overall, it was great surfing. It just lacked a little bit of variety. And you can see right there, the wave's going to bottom out on that last turn in front of him and just disengage that rail, and then he catch the rail once again outside. Surprised that came in at a 6-point ride, and Jack's a 6.93.
It's all about separations on the scale. You kind of have a solid familiarity with the scale for the day, but remember, you want to compare your scores just to the 3 surfers in the water at the moment. Jack, Ian, George, looking for the spot straight into the round of 16. Here comes Jack Robinson from Western Australia. Throwing down some quick backhand turns, has one on his backhand. It waves like G-Land in Indonesia. Has always had that perfect technique in the barrel since he was about 10. Whips it again, now looking for another section to pull in on. This is the final tube section on the left. Now the finish. Blowtail reverse. A nice option for the natural footers on the left here at Surf Abu Dhabi. And Leandro likes it. Wife Julia looking happy with that performance this morning.
Yeah, just Jack looks calm and collected. I love that first turn he had right after the barrel, how he was able to redirect the board and bring that nose all the way back in. And that's not the biggest problem because it's easy to push. The problem is to regroup and actually keep the speed and the flow throughout the wave. There was a few turns that he got a bit sticky on the beginning, and we're going to see it right here, first setup. And then this third turn right here, he got a little bit too tight, like brought a little bit under his foot a little too much. I would have liked to see him open up a little bit more. This is beautiful tube riding, which obviously is expected. And then this is the turn that I'm mentioning. Look how much he redirected that board, but came out with speed. That was very good surfing from Jack. And right there, just being smart, keep himself calm, going through that second barrel that it's hard to deal. It's very small, and finish it off strong. Nice blowtail. A little bit on the flatter part of the section. You're going to see the wave doesn't bottom out so much in front under him as we've seen it on the previous blowtails on the end of the wave. But still very well put wave together, and yeah, good surfing for him.
Bit stronger, still a bit livelier in that construction from Channel Islands. Ian Gentil rolling in, WSL replacement surfer. Starting to flow down the line. Wrapping back into the pocket. Throwing down a nice turn right off the lip. Nice water fly into the sky for Gentil. Flows over the coping again. Back to a big hammer again for Gentil. Really letting go of that section. Love how he uses that lanky frame to provide a lot of range for his turns. Forces the kind of chop pop more than an alley-oop in transition. And ends up going for the forehand reverse. So fitting in a lot in a short space.
That's probably some of the best finishing you're going to see it on that very last little section. I'm not talking about that ollie-oop part, but after that, it's like there's barely any wave, and he was able to actually maximize the potential. But that's already way far in the wave, and that's where the judges least want to see you go big, because there's less for you to lose. You're already in the end of the wave. There's more commitment on the beginning of it. We're going to see him right here on that ollie-oop. Just the timing was off, so he had to kind of chop hop like you mentioned. He didn't hit the lip in transition, didn't have the momentum through, but then to finish it off with a nice tail blow, just the wave just being very small. You're going to see him identifying the lip, but he goes a little bit over, so that means he has to just pop it a little bit before the lip, otherwise he was going to get stuck behind. So he's almost like pulling his momentum up to the lip instead of like hitting the lip and keeping the momentum down towards the wave. So hard one to explain and break it down right there, but
it's been huge events at Manly Beach over the years at championship tour level surfing. As we see this one setting up, let's just hear from the coach himself, J. Bottle Thompson, to walk us through.
There we go, the big giraffe first up. Nice easy angle, biding his time. Just to click this one nicely, solid. For some tube time now. Let's get a bit deeper and hoping, box tick. Now we need this middle bit to be nice. Beautiful angle, that was a beautiful turn. Okay, one more mate in the pit. Well surf wave thus far. Let's get in this little pit at the end there. There you go. Come mate, good boy. And little clean up row. Okay wave. It was, yeah, maybe 5s, I'd say, but that's how we go. Put him in contention for the right.
Thanks so much, AJ, who's just right next to J. Bottle Thompson. So a nice perspective of just kind of hearing a coach think his way through turns. You know, they've had a formula. He's seen George in the practices, and you can see how serious it gets when everything's on the line, Jesse.
Yeah, and he was mentioning a lot about the angles, like, oh, I like this angle of this turn, because he's like, you have to put yourself in the critical part of the wave, and also make sure you're maximizing the most leverage you have on every turn you push. And right here, he says he liked that angle right coming out of that barrel, because the wave is critical. There's hollower, there's like the wave bottoms out, and he was actually able to redirect and put that nose, bring it all the way back in and come out with speed. So great solid surfing from him. Finish it off a little bit on the safer side, but probably gassed out on those legs as well, you know, because it's a long wave, and he has caught 2 waves already before this. So
a championship tour event in this amazing technology in the Middle East. Watching this roll in now, Jack Robinson had a 10-point ride to kick off the season at Pipeline, but was upset by Al Cleland Jr. So looking to pick himself back up and get into the final 5 scenario, moving through some nice points on his forehand. Rambo looking to better a 6.93, where he did feature the big alley-oop. Tail throw there. Love his rail work between turns. Now he's identifying the ramp. A little sloppier on that release. You could see he was off balance. So he might be keeping his first right of the qualifying round.
yeah, it looks like it. He was actually gone into his wave. He would have done something similar to finish it off from the first wave, because there's a little bit more intensity on that wave. You could see he was pushing a little bit harder. The body language was a little bit stronger on that wave, and he had that big one open carve, bringing it all the way back around. That was beautiful to see, and the judges are going to take notice of that, but unfortunately didn't finish it off. You're going to see him eyeing it down that section, but just overrunning it. Didn't keep the pace and the calm that the wave was asking him for, and he was just a little bit out in front, and then he has to force it a little bit, and you're going to see where he's landing right there. It's just not bottomed out enough, and he just doesn't have the transition in order to fit his board.
With that dampening effect, the basin walls are all made out of waterproof concrete, about 225 millimeters in thickness as we watch Gentil. First turn on the left, little sticky off the bottom, but maintains control. Little knife there in the pocket for Gentil. Left before is a 3.0, so his score will improve if he can do better than a 3 on this wave. But it's his last wave of the qualifying round. Off the lip again is the Maui boy, a little bit behind, trying to get a little speed up, and he gets lipped in the back. So Gentil was ultimately searching for a 7.79 to avoid the night session tonight. Replacement surfer for Gabriel Medina. Medina still out. George with his last chance to skip the night session. Needs an 8.23 here. Hammering that section. Nice clean rail work. Punches it out. Sets it up off the bottom. Nice draw on the open face, attacking that crumble section, coming down, loading up with an aggressive tail drift, and he'll get stuck, knowing that he needed an excellent score. We've got salt water in this basin coming from the Arabian Gulf as we look at the style backhand for Jack. We'll get a good idea if he's surfing in a lower gear, and yeah, looks like he's just kind of putting it through the paces, feeling out his board. Nice jam there. Gets out in front to pull in again. And really extending his time in the pocket. Rambo throwing down the fins, extending that slide. And enjoying a nice left that'll take him into the round of 16. Gives Jack Robinson a nice victory and a jump into the round of 16. We'll see George and Ian Gentil this evening, starting around 6:40 p.m. local time.